Hello everyone, my name is Kenzie Duvall. I'm an aspiring author hoping to be traditionally published, and this is my first writing updates video. I decided that I want to start doing monthly writing updates, and I was going to do it at the end of June. Plans changed and I didn't really have enough that I had completed in the month of June, so I decided to, because I also didn't have very much done in July, I decided to consolidate them into one updates video. So this is my June and July writing updates. Yeah, so I write fantasy and historical fiction, usually fantasy, but if the story isn't set in another world, then it's set in the past. That's what I like to write. I have currently 3 novel drafts that I've completed. I just recently finished my 3rd. So, accomplishment number 1 for this 2-month period was that I vaguely decided what I want to query with. My goal for 2023 was to write 4 novel drafts, and this was pretty much just to figure out what I wanted to try to debut with, what I wanted to query first. I've never queried before, so that was, I didn't know what I wanted to go with first, and so that was the goal of 2023, figuring out what I wanted to put most of my effort into so that I could hopefully debut with it. And so as of June, I've narrowed it down to 2. I had a lot of options. I have so many ideas, so there were a lot of options for it, but I finally narrowed it down to 2, and the rest of 2023 is going to be figuring out which of those 2 I'm going to go with. So basically, I was trying to write 4 novels. I was separating the year into 4 chunks, 4 3-month chunks. So it was January to March, April to June, July to September. I think that's right. My mind is blanking. And then October to December. I think that's right. And so I was splitting it up into these 3-month chunks, and every 3 months I would have a novel finished. And the first 3 months, I did that. I finished my novel Dragons, which is a working title. I finished that in March, and I have it bound and printed out. I like to get my first drafts printed. I haven't actually finished a second draft, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I like to get my first drafts bound and printed, and I get an editor's copy and a reader's copy. I don't know if you can see that, but I get an editor's copy and a reader's copy. The reader's copy I lend out to people who want to read it. It's mostly just my friends, and they can leave their annotations, their reactions, whatever they want in the book. The editor's copy is for when I want to go with draft 2. I can go through and make notes upon notes upon notes and write whatever in there. So I finished Dragons in March. It's a little short. I ended up kind of skimming through the ending, so it didn't turn out amazing. I'm not super proud of that novel. I appreciate the work that I did. I think that I did good work. And it's a first draft, so all that it has to do is exist. That being said, it wasn't good, but that's okay, because it's a first draft. So the second 3-month chunk was for writing my novel June, and it has a real title, but I'm not sharing it yet, so it's just June. That one, I got to the end of June the month, and I realized I needed a little more time to really write the novel strongly all the way through. So I took another month because I really didn't want to rush it. June, I really felt like it was my strongest novel yet. I was really proud of it, what I had so far, and I didn't want to rush what I had left and end up with a mediocre book. Even though it's the first draft and it doesn't matter how good it is, I wanted to have the strongest first draft that I could have, so I ended up taking another month and pushed it to July, which was because I picked two options for potential debuts, and that was June, which is why I wanted so badly for it to be a very strong novel draft, and Project Mutiny, which is the first novel that I ever finished all the way through. It's very near and dear to my heart. I narrowed my options down to June and Project Mutiny. So, because I wanted June to be a strong first draft, I took another month and I pushed my deadline back to July. Middle of June, the month, in the middle of June, my second accomplishment was that I finished outlining my second draft of Project Mutiny, and that was huge for me. Project Mutiny, the first draft, I have the copy here. I, again, like to get them printed. This one is quite a bit longer. It doesn't look that much longer on screen, but it's quite a bit longer than Dragons was, and this, I did the same thing where I skimmed through the ending, and that wasn't because I was trying to rush, because that's why Dragons was skimmed, was because I was trying to rush and finish it. Project Mutiny, I had spent nearly a year writing. Granted, I wasn't writing very quickly. I wasn't writing very often, wasn't writing very much, so it took me a very long time. I started it December 2021, and I finished it November 2022. Barely kept it under a year. As I was writing, I was realizing my mistakes. I was realizing what I could have done better, what could make the novel really great, and I knew that it wasn't what I had, and it was so completely different from what I had. So I skimmed the ending because I wanted to change so much that it didn't feel worth it to me to write in depth all of these things that I was going to throw away, basically. I summarized a lot of it, and I think if I had really written it, it would be a lot longer than it is. And I might actually get draft 2 printed as well because it's going to be so different. And so outlining it, re-outlining it, and outlining it for draft 2 was huge. There was so much work to be done. I had to re-outline it. I couldn't just go in with edits and rewrites and tweak what I had already. There was so much changing that I had to completely re-outline it. And outlining takes me kind of a long time because it's kind of like a zero draft in my mind, like figuring out every single thing. So it took me quite a while, but I finished it in the middle of June, and this was the first one that I did in Scrivener. Usually I do index card outlines. This is my one for Dragons. And I'll do like a card per chapter, per scene, whatever. Usually that's how I outlined, but I recently got Scrivener, thanks to my boyfriend Luke. He got it for me for my birthday. I tried outlining in Scrivener this time, and I really liked it. It was really fun to be able to move things around as I pleased and tweak things as I went. With the index cards, it felt so much more permanent. As soon as I wrote something, it was set in stone, it felt like. With Scrivener, I could just delete whatever I wanted to. I could move things around. And everything was just like, I could do whatever I wanted. And I really liked that. I think it's 60 scenes that are in there. And I'm shooting for around 2,000 words per scene. It's gonna be a long book. And I'm usually an overwriter, so it's going to be a really long book. It's high fantasy, 5 points of view. It's gonna be a really long book, which I don't mind. I love this story. I love long books. I don't think that's a problem. I just think it's kind of funny how huge of a book this is going to be. Accomplishment number 3 was at the end of July, I finished writing June, my novel. It felt really good because it was my third one. It was the first that I wrote without skimming the ending. I put a lot of effort into it and I was really excited about it. I could have finished it sooner than the end of July, I think. I really only needed a few more days to write, but I had a really busy July. Vacation and work, and on top of having a job, I am a freelance editor. It took a lot of July, and so I didn't have as much time to write, but I did finish June on the 25th. So now it's done, and that brings us to accomplishment number 4, which was I sent my first novel to beta readers. I sent June to beta readers. I am so excited about this. I've never had beta readers before, other than like loaning these books to this one I loaned to my friend, this one to my sister. Those are the only people who have read my books, and it wasn't in a critical or feedbacky way. It was just they were asking to read them, and so I gave them the book. I haven't had feedback on my work before. I haven't had anyone read it in a serious capacity. So this is like a step towards like actually publishing, which is, it's amazing. I know I'm not very close to publishing. I still have a lot of work to do, but this just feels like getting one step closer. Like, I'm gonna get feedback on June, I'm gonna write a second draft, and I'm gonna make a better book that potentially is gonna be the one that I query, and potentially a published book, which would be amazing. Yeah, I'm just super excited about that. So I sent it off to beta readers. They have it for a while. I probably won't look at it until the end of the year, and so I told them, take as much time as you need. As long as I get it eventually, I'm fine. Since I picked my potential debuts, since I took another month for June, and since Project Mutiny is such a giant book, I decided that I'm taking the rest of the year to write Project Mutiny Draft 2, which I guess could be accomplishment number 5. I think that it's best if I have a lot of time to work on this book and can really work hard on it, and it's a huge book. It's gonna be the longest book I've ever written. I think I need a lot more than 3 months to write it, and I don't have another novel that I'm really wanting to write this year, so I'm just taking the rest of the year for Project Mutiny, and I'm excited about that. And I started it. Accomplishment number 6, I started writing Project Mutiny Draft 2, my first Draft 2 ever, and I'm really glad that I took the rest of the year to write it, because it's kind of, usually I don't edit as I go. I write and then it's done. But this one, I've only written a little bit. I've only written a little more than 2,000 words. But I've been like going back and tweaking what I have, because I'm trying to figure out how to like best tell this story. And it's kind of making it a slow process, which I don't mind. It's just slower than I usually write, so I'm really glad that I'm taking extra time for it. So, to wrap things up, my plans going forwards. June is not going to be touched until the end of the year, probably not till December. I have it sent to beta readers. It's ordered so I can get a copy like this. It's just in the background doing its thing while I work on Project Mutiny. So when I do get around to it in December, probably, maybe January, end of the year, beginning of next, it's gonna be a while. When I do get back around to it, I'm going to, I think, take 2024 to focus on June. My vague plan is 2024 for June, and then I decide what I'm doing going forwards. So, like, once I finish Project Mutiny, I'll send it to beta readers, get feedback, and work on it once I'm done with June. You know, satisfied with June. Because they're tied for debut. I don't know what I want to debut with yet, so really it's just what the feedback I get is and what I think is best. I'm just going forward with a vague plan for now. End of this year, I'll work a little bit on reading through June, figuring out what I want to do, looking at beta reader feedback, making plans for going forwards, and then 2024, I'm going to spend the whole year writing drafts and drafts and drafts, trying to get the book polished and good. I don't know what I'll do with beta readers, if I'll have beta readers reading while I work, or I don't know what I'll do yet. Just the vague plan is 2024 is June, the year of June. So the rest of this year, I'm going to work on Project Mutiny. That's pretty much it. Hopefully, I feel good about this draft, and I'm hoping to send it to beta readers. Since it's another long book, I might just have it simmering with beta readers during 2024. I don't know yet, because I also might want beta readers for June during 2024. I don't want to overload them with stuff. Maybe I need more groups of beta readers, but I don't know very many writer people. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I just know Project Mutiny for the rest of the year, June for next year. After that is either my plan right now. This totally could change. It probably will change. I don't know yet, and that's kind of what I want to be making these videos, is so I can document my plans and how they change and how everything goes into getting my first book published. I want to document that for myself and maybe for other people if they want to watch it. I don't know. My plan right now, tentative, hopeful, probably won't happen plan, is one of two things. Either I really love June and I get it really great in 2024 and I want to publish it, or I really love Project Mutiny and I want to publish it. I'm thinking it's probably going to be June, but we'll see. So in the event that it's Project Mutiny, then probably 2025 I'll work on polishing Project Mutiny. If it's June, 2025 is hopefully the year that I query. We'll see if that happens. This is kind of nothing to do with updates for these 2 months, but since this is my first writing updates video, I want to lay out what my plans are right now so that I can see them change as I go forwards, so that I don't know if people are gonna watch, but if you do, so that you can see things change and grow. I'm really excited about how writing's going right now. Hopefully, I'll be published in the future. I was gonna say in the near future. Hopefully, I'll be published sometime in general at all, because that would be great. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's it for my June and July updates. I'll be back in August to tell you how draft 2 of Project Mutiny is going and to show you my printed copy of June. Thank you for watching, if you did watch, if you stuck through this video, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye.